up guys, and welcome to today's vlog video. We're going to be talking E3 2015, going over all of the conferences. There have been 5 or 6, I can't remember exactly, and just talking about in general what each of the conferences announced were coming up and that kind of thing. We'll go conference to conference to conference, starting with the smaller ones and ending with the bigger ones, with the games companies instead of the developers companies. So, Bethesda. It's their first kind of solo E3 conference ever, I think. I don't remember them ever doing one before, and I've watched it for the last like 4 or 5 years, and I don't remember them ever being there. So yeah, Bethesda have now got their own conference space, which was really cool to see. I'm a big fan of their games actually. And they had some really cool stuff. I mean, it was one of the shorter conferences, and it was good because there was no games on there that we really already knew about, bar one that had been like rumoured, but we'll talk about that in a little while. So we saw the new Doom game, which looked absolutely incredible. There was a vast variety of weapons. It was gory. It was gory as hell, and very explosive. They have what looks like a fantastic multiplayer coming up for it, and this really cool feature called Doom Snap Map. And it's basically, they've put like a map builder within the game. And you can create like multiplayer maps, you can create single player maps. Think, how do I put this? Think Little Big Planet, bigger, and not cartoon, like Doom style Little Big Planet. And you put like the rooms you want, and you kind of snap them together, and then you can zoom in, and then you can kind of put like parts like accessories in the room. Like you can put barrels, and you can put level ups, and you can put weaponry, and you can put monsters. Like you decide whatever you want to do, and you can say how many characters you want to play it, how many players you want, how many monsters you want. Basically anything you want you can make, which looks incredible. And then you can play that single player, or you can put that online for other people to play. I think that says a lot for the game community as a whole now, because Sony and Microsoft, not so much Nintendo, but Sony and Microsoft have a lot of focus on indie developers now, and we'll talk about that in more depth when I talk about their conferences. But the fact that a company like Bethesda have put something that allows anyone and everyone to take a kind of like first look at what it is to create a game map into such a big well-known game like Doom is awesome, really. And it's a really cool kind of like the story modes. Like when I saw that part of it, blew me away. That looked amazing. And then I saw the multiplayer, and I'm not a massive multiplayer like fan anyway. Like for those of you who know me and my gaming style, I prefer a good single player story game. But the multiplayer looked very good, like for what I would probably play it. And then they introduced Snap Map, and I was just there like, the fuck is this? This is amazing. And it just shows really that developers will listen to their audience. You know, they'll listen to their fans, which is nice. So Doom is due to come out spring 2016. There's no like actual day release date yet, but spring 2016. That's when that's due to come out. Battlecry, there's going to be a Battlecry game called Battlecry, if I can speak. Game called Battlecry coming out, but that's basically an online action game, and it's like it's just a standard online action game really. You can like sign up for the beta if you want, and that's at battlecrythegame.com. And that's coming at some point in 2015. There was no date. Dishonored 2, and there wasn't much about it, so I don't know. Like, there's no release date. There wasn't an overstretch of kind of content that we saw. All that we saw is that there was a male and a female lead that you could play as, and that seemed to be a very strong part of E3 this year. There were a lot of female leads, and you'll kind of see what I mean as I go and carry on with the conferences like for other companies. Like there's a lot of female like game leads now, which is cool. And on top of Dishonored 2, there was the Dishonored Definitive Edition, and that's coming out fall of this year. So Dishonored 2, it is not due like for a while. Like there was no, like it wasn't even confirmed that it would be next year. And the Definitive Edition of the first game we've still got to wait till fall for that. And that'll be on Xbox One and PS4, and it'll come with all the games DLC. It'll basically be like The Last of Us remastered, where it kind of came with everything that came with it. The Elder Scrolls Online, we saw a little bit of that. I mean, I was a big fan of Oblivion and Skyrim. I really liked them, but I can't get my head around the Elder Scrolls Online. I haven't played it much. Like I don't have a copy. I've played it like at a friend's house. On their computer, and it looks good, but it's just not. It's not the kind of thing for me, I don't think. But there's some new DLC coming out for that. They launched Tutorial Unlimited a couple of days back, so they just kind of showed what is coming up with that. So it looks okay. It looks good, but I don't think it's anything that I'd play personally. And the Elder Scrolls Legend, which is a strategy card game, is going to be free to play on PC and iPad, which is just, to me, it seems like they're just trying to outstretch the Elder Scrolls series. Like, Oblivion and Skyrim were such epic games, and to be honest, the Elder Scrolls Online, if they do it right, it has the potential to be fantastic. And I feel like them creating Elder Scrolls Legends is pushing it a little bit, because it's only just, like, the Elder Scrolls Online has only just become compatible with everything. Like, it's been out on PC for a while, but the console versions of it have been delayed for so long that it's a little bit cheeky to then turn around and go, even though it is free, it's just a little bit cheeky to go turn around and be like, oh yeah, this is probably why it took so long to like creating a card game. The fuck is that about? And then there was the big announcement of Fallout 4. Obviously, that was the big one for Bethesda. Again, male and female leads. Completely customize your character. Like you just click on a part of the face and you can move it around. It's not like go through the options of pre-rendered faces. It's like you click on it. It's like creating like the really custom creating a character in Sims. That's basically what it's like, but more detailed. And they got some really cool stuff about that on there. The Pip-Boy Watch thing, you actually get like a model of it with the collector's edition, and you can download an app, and it's basically a second screen app for your phone, and you put your phone into Pip-Boy and you play it as if it was the same one that you have in Fallout. Obviously, if you don't get the collector's edition, you can still use the second screen app on your phone, but it wouldn't be as cool as like playing it on your wrist as a Pip-Boy in the game, like it is in the game. That's really cool. So I've never been I know Fallout is good, it's just never been my kind of style of game, but I really am debating just getting the collector's edition just so I've got Pip-Boy to try it. And that's due to come out November 15th this year, which is really exciting. And the other thing they announced for Fallout was a phone game called Fallout Shelter. Now, I will say now, I hate phone games. I despise them because they are annoying, they take up too much memory, and they're just pointless, basically. However, I downloaded to try out Fallout Shelter, and I haven't put it down. Like, it's my new favourite thing. And honestly, even if you don't like phone games, if you're a fan of Fallout or you just want to give it a go, it's completely free. You don't need the internet to play it. You know, it's just there for you to try, and you don't have to keep it if you don't want to. It's not a massively big download. And it's out now, and it's just a fantastic game. And basically what you do is you make your own vault, and you control everything about it. You control the people and where they go, you control the rooms they have, and you can upgrade characters and upgrade rooms, and you kind of fight off people that come in to try and take your things and that kind of thing. and it's just a really well done, well put together, extremely addictive phone game. And the fact they've given it away free with the launch of Fallout 4 coming out is fantastic, because you'd think they want a little bit more money out of it, but they don't, which is nice. And when the second screen experience for the phone app comes out, that will also be free, which is really cool. So Bethesda as a whole had a really strong conference, because I think it was their first one. It felt like they've been doing it for years. They knew what they were doing, they knew exactly what direction they wanted their games to go in, and every single one of their games looked good. There wasn't anything about it that disappointed me, which is nice. So yeah, that's Bethesda. I got my notebook here, so excuse me while I just go to the next one. I'm not doing Microsoft. Yeah, that's the bigger one. Okay, we'll do this one. Right, Square Enix. Now, I personally haven't seen a Square Enix conference before. I'm aware that they have been there, but I don't know how long it's been since they have been there, because I remember them saying that it had been a while since they had been there, so I don't know how long it's been, but yeah, Square Enix. Again, a very strong conference. They actually had some of my favourite games on there, which was really cool. Kingdom Hearts 3, we saw a little bit of that, but again, not much. We still don't know a release date. We don't know how long it's going to take or anything like that. Rise of the Tomb Raider, we saw some more of that, and I have rage about that, which I will talk about more in the Xbox and Microsoft's conference section of this video. But it looked fantastic, and we actually saw some real gameplay from the beginning of the game, it looked amazing. Like the climbing skills they've got for Lara, and like the environment they've built is just like, the atmosphere around it is incredible. Despite the fact it's going to be Xbox exclusive, but we'll talk about that in a bit later, shall we? Let's just carry on with Square Enix and their coolness. Final Fantasy VII Remastered is going to be a PS4 exclusive. Looks nothing like the original game at all. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, new game, and I was like, oh, it's Final Fantasy VII, what the fuck? It looks really cool, but it just doesn't look anything like the game, like before. But then again, we did only see a trailer, so I don't know, we haven't seen any gameplay, so I don't know how much different it looks. Like from the trailer, it looks like a completely new game, but I don't know. We'll have to see. And again, there's no release date for that at this moment in time. Deus Ex Mankind Divided, early 2016 release, looks very good. I played the first one long time ago, back when it first came out, and yeah, I enjoyed it, but it was one of them games where I just picked it up, played it, and never played it again. I think I sold it, in fact. That was back when I sold my games, at the beginning of my gaming kind of lifestyle. So yeah, Deus Ex Mankind, early 2016, looks very good actually. I will be buying that and playing that. What else have I got on here? Final Fantasy Portal app. I can't even remember what that is. I think it's just a phone game, another phone game, and that's coming this year in summertime. I don't really know. And the big one, of course, was Just Cause 3, which looked like a big explosion mess of awesomeness. Now, I'm a big fan of the Just Cause games. I don't actually own them. I'm going to have to get them and play them again before the third one comes out on December 1st this year, so there is a confirmed release date, which is really cool. But yeah, I'm going to have to get them and play them again, because I haven't played them in a long time. But it was just like, we saw gameplay, so they are quite far through the kind of like production of the game, which is really cool. And obviously it's released this year, so yeah, that looks really good. And my favourite one of the Square Enix conference was the new Hitman game. I am a massive fan of the Hitman games. I absolutely loved Absolution. It was probably one of the best games I've ever played. The trailer for the new Hitman, and it's just called Hitman, it's not Hitman anything else, it's just Hitman. The trailer was stylish, it was sleek, It was simple. It was everything that a Hitman game is. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, the thing is about Hitman is it's quite a slow start to a game, and then you kind of go in, and because it's all like a lot of it's stealth, so it's hard to put that across in a trailer. But when you know like the abilities that 47 has, like his ability to change costumes and like blend in and things like that, when you see the trailer, you're just there like, you think, is everyone who I really think they are? And it was just a very stylized, and considering there was no actual action in it, it was a very kind of like mesmerizing trailer. Like, I couldn't take my eyes off it, considering there was like, it wasn't one of them trailers where you had explosions going off everywhere and it looks incredible and like there's loads of action. Obviously there's plenty of action in a Hitman game, but a completely different part, a completely different side of action, because it's all based on stealth and assassination. It's not big explosions and that kind of, it's not that kind of game. So the trailer was actually probably one of my favourite trailers from the whole of the E3 this year. Like, the whole of E3 this year is probably, if not my favourite, then one of my favourites. And I am super excited about that coming out. It's not a reboot as such. They've said it can be a standalone game, but it is actually set somewhere in the timeline after Absolution. So it's not a reboot. Just because it's called just Hitman doesn't mean it's a reboot. But it could be a standalone game as well. If you don't have to have played Absolution to play this one, if you know what I mean. Like, it is its own game, but it is set somewhere in the timeline for like after Absolution, which is really exciting. So there'll probably be some extra things you could pick up on if you have played Absolution, which would be cool. And that is due to come out this year on the 18th of December. I've already gone through the process of pre-ordering. I've already done it because I really want that game. It's going to be amazing. So that's Square Enix. Again, like Bethesda, a very solid. They didn't show much, but what they did show, they showed the right amount. They showed basically what they needed to, and nothing more, nothing less than that. And that is the best way to do a conference, because when you have so many big games coming out like Square Enix do, like they've got Just Cause, they've got Rise of the Tomb Raider, they've got Kingdom Hearts 3, they've got the reboot of, well, not reboot, they've got Hitman, they've got Deus Ex, they've got more Final Fantasy coming out. When you've got that lineup of games that are so popular to a lot of people, you don't want to like take away from them by showing too much of each or showing little things in between, because it puts it down on the conference. So they showed what they needed to for each game, and you know, they showed a fair bit for each thing. They showed as much as they should have done, basically, and it was a really solid conference. And I really am hoping they're going to be there again next year. Actually, it was an overall great conference. So yeah, thumbs up to Square Enix. Fantastic job, guys. I'm really looking forward to basically everything that you're doing over the next year and a bit. Moving on again to EA. And then we can go over to the big conferences. Mind you, EA's one's pretty big anyway. I've actually got more written down for EA than I have Nintendo. So yeah, EA, of course, they have a conference every year. They do conferences very well, and you know, it's EA. You get what you get with them, and nothing less, nothing more. There's a new Mass Effect game coming out, Mass Effect Andromeda, it's called. This year, or not this year, holiday 2016, so it's a long way off, but it does look good. It does look good. We didn't see much, but what I did see looked good. Of course, there's another Need for Speed game, nothing new there. Ventura Bay, November 3rd, 2015, that's when that's coming out. Star Wars The Old Republic is an online game. It's an online game. Like a big MMO type thing. They've got new DLC coming out for that called Knights of the Fallen Empire, and it's going to be free to subscribers that were already subscribed up to the up to the kind of main game before the DLC comes out. So if you want to get a hold of this new DLC for free, all you have to do is sign up for the Star Wars The Old Republic game. I'm not sure if it's free or not, because personally I haven't played it, so All you have to do is have that kind of on your system before October 27th this year, and you will get a free copy of Knights of the Fallen Empire. Now, like I said, I don't know if the Old Republic game is free to play or not. But if it is free to play, then just try it out, I suppose. If it's not, then and you're a fan of Star Wars, then you probably already have this game anyway. But if you didn't know, Knights of the Fallen Republic will be free to play as of October 27th. Unravel is a really cool puzzle platformer. Basically, if you remember Yoshi's Woolly World that we saw from Nintendo's digital conference last year, it's basically a little bit like that, but obviously it's not Nintendo characters. And you're a character made of yarn trying to like follow your kind of unraveled yarn back to your place of like completion, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it. It looks like a very cool little game, actually. I'm not like, obviously I'm a fan of indie games, but like when I prefer to play them on my PC. I don't play too many indie games on my PS4, which is bad, really. I should play more. But it just looks really cool. So yeah, there's no release date for that yet, but it probably won't be too long till it's out. Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. Now, I was never a massive fan of the first one, and that's purely because it's just a 100% online game. I played a little bit, and it's good fun with friends, but like on your own, like it's not the kind of game for me. But Garden Warfare 2 will have a solo experience, so I might try that out. If you do play the first game, basically all of your unlocked characters will be transferable to the second game, so you won't have to go through and unlock everything again. And then there'll be some new characters, obviously, as well. And that's due to come out spring 2016, so we've still got a bit of a wait for that one. Then we go on to EA Sports. We got NHL 16, NBA Live 16, which actually has a little cool app that comes with it, and you can personalise your character to look like you, basically. And you download an app onto your phone. Take a picture of yourself, like you would take a selfie. And it scans your face, basically, and it transfers your facial features into the game. And this is only on NBA Live 16, so it's the only game you can do it on. So you transfer your facial features into the game, and then you can change your hairstyle and everything, and your skin colours and stuff like that in game. But it's got your facial features on the character, which I thought was a really cool thing. And to be honest, I'm a bit like annoyed that they've only put it on a sports game, because I kind of outrightedly, and it's no secret, I despise sports games. So I'm a bit annoyed that it's just on that. But yeah, NBA Live 16 will be released this summer. FIFA 16, nothing else to say about that, it's FIFA 16. Anything else? Madden NFL 16. So that's all of the EA Sports stuff that we got. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Now this is another mobile game, and it's actually, again, it looks quite cool. There's no release date at the moment that I've got written down. But Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is kind of like it's just like a kind of like fighter phone game, I guess. Which it looked cool, but I don't know if I'll play it. Minions Paradise is another phone game, and basically you play as a minion, and you are this like specific minion that has a habit of destroying everything, and you have to kind of like make up with your minion friends. And it looked quite cute, so I might actually play that one. Then of course one of the bigger ones that we got on here, new Mirror's Edge game. Now I religiously despise Mirror's Edge. I didn't like the first one. I liked the style, I liked the music. I didn't like the way it played. That was my issue with it. That being said, Mirror's Edge Catalyst again looked very good, so I probably will try it. And if I'm gonna try it, then I have to go back and try and play the first one again. But yeah, it looked very good. It's kind of like, I think they said it's an origin story. There's no levels, there's no loading screens whatsoever. It's completely free roam. So obviously you've got set missions you have to do, but there's no kind of like you have to do this at this point and that kind of thing. And you basically go back to Faith's childhood and like figure out how she became how she is now, that kind of thing. And obviously she has to save the world as per. So yeah, like with when the first Mirror's Edge came out, I remember being completely blown away with how it looked. And when I played it, it was a completely different story. So I will probably try Catalyst. I'll probably try and play it. But just don't expect too much from me because I did not get on with the first game. And that is due to come out February 23rd next year. So at least we've got a release date for that. And then the big game that every single person I think in the gaming industry is looking forward to. Star Wars Battlefront. Looks amazing. EA have actually been given access to Lucasfilm's like gallery of everything to do with Star Wars, so they've got like actual model replicas from the original trilogy and that kind of thing. They've got everything in the game. It's not a different version of, like, created from like as a model. It is a digital version exactly as it would be in like the original model for the film. It is to the tiniest detail exactly the same as it would be if you looked at the original model for the films. Every single part of it. So it's amazing basically. It's got a 8 player to 40 player multiplayer. You've got online and offline modes, 1 to 3 players in flight play, and that's due to come out, if you didn't know already, because most people do, November 17th of this year. It's probably going to be one of the biggest games that comes out this year, I'll be honest. It's probably going to be one of the biggest games that comes out this year. I don't know if it's going to compare to the first Star Wars Battlefront, because it was a lot bigger. I feel like it was a lot bigger, but it was mainly PC that kind of relied on, and this is, like, this seems to be hyped a lot on the PlayStation 4, and as much as the PlayStation 4 can do a lot, it can't do as much as a PC can. I mean, the capturing they use, because we saw some actual gameplay from E3, gameplay from the game, like at E3. They showed like a big battle sequence, and it was basically like the Battle of Hoth. It was really cool, and everything we saw was captured on a PS4. So they are really pushing it for the PS4, which means there'll probably be another PS4 bundle around Christmas time with Star Wars Battlefront on it. So I mean, I understand why it's not as big. It's just a bit of a shame that it's not. But there we go. So yeah, EA. The problem is with EA is they have really cool parts, and they have stuff that you see from them every single year. And then you have EA Sports, which is more of what you see from them every single year. And they don't really have anything new bar Mirror's Edge and Star Wars Battlefront, which they did a fantastic job. And of course they got the new Mass Effect as well. They did a fantastic job with them 3. But Plants vs Zombies, not overly fast. Need for Speed, get a new one of them basically every year. And then you've got all the games that come out religiously every year, all the sports games, everything. And there's nothing ever new, like new and fresh, about an EA Games conference. Like, even the games that were the big parts of it, like Mass Effect, Mirror's Edge, Star Wars, they're not new. They're big games, and they're stuff that perhaps we haven't seen for a while. They're not new. They're not new. So, that's just how it is with EA, I suppose. It was an okay conference. You didn't get any, like, I don't personally expect a lot from an EA conference. So, I got what I kind of suspected I was going to get, which is okay. So in that retrospect, they didn't disappoint. They didn't go any lower than what I was expecting. If anything, they went a little higher because, they did show a lot of cool stuff, but it was just, when you show all that cool stuff and then have stuff that is repeated every year, it just puts a bit of a downer on it, to be honest. But there we go, that's EA. Let's talk Ubisoft. Their conference was actually probably one of my favourites. of the whole of E3. They had some really cool stuff, like stuff that I thought had gone out of fashion has come back with a bang, basically. And then we saw a lot of new stuff. We saw a lot of updates on things that needed to be updated. It was an all-round solidly good conference. It kicked off with a brand new franchise. It's going to be a brand new franchise called For Honor, and that's going to be a multiplayer and single-player kind of medieval battle game. You can actually sign up for the beta now at forhonor.com. And it looked really good. It looked like a proper grindy, like right to the bone action kind of medieval game that you would feel when you did something. It was really cool. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what that will do for it. But one thing I will say is that all of Ubisoft's games they tested were actually all tested on PlayStation 4s. So sorry Xbox, sorry. But that was like kind of the theme for the whole of E3 really. Pretty much everything was tested and like all the live demos are on PlayStation 4. So anyway, moving on from that, The Crew. I still haven't played it. Ben's played it. We did that. I did play it. We did that kind of long ass trip from the bottom to top of the United States. We did that. And there's some DLC coming out for it called Wild Run. And that is supposed to be a faster, kind of more in-depth, cooler vehicle kind of thing, DLC-wise. I mean, I'm not really into car games, so it doesn't really bother me that much. But yeah, that's coming out on the 17th of November this year. So if you are a fan of The Crew, or you are thinking of getting it, then check out the DLC that is going to be coming out for it, and see if it's what floats your boat, really. Trials Fusion, awesome level max DLC, looked hilarious. I mean, I'm still on the edge about. I don't own Trials Fusion. I've played a little bit of it. I don't own it. I don't. But I'm still like kind of, well, do I get it? Do I not get it? No. But this DLC has you riding a unicorn that breathes fire as a cat. So you are the cat, and you ride the unicorn that breathes fire. And I always just thought this is hilarious, so I am gonna now get Trials Fusion. There's no date on when that's gonna be out. There was nothing on there about a date, so yeah. But that looked really cool. We had a big update on Tom Clancy's The Diversion. We saw the Dark Zone, and it's a new kind of one of the newer parts of the game we've seen. Because we've seen quite a bit of it, but it's always been the same thing every time. So it was nice to see something new. And I said this the first time this game was announced, and I will say it again right now. The player voices they've got are so realistic. It sounds like they are talking to you actually over headsets. Every time I've heard or seen anything about that game, I've always thought it was players talking to each other. That's how lifelike they've made it from character to character. And actually, they've done a bloody good job of just the vocals, like the characters. It sounded incredible. And the gameplay itself was actually very tense. It was very nerving. It was a little bit terrifying actually, because it was quite realistic. But it was very cool. Yeah, it was very cool. I'm looking forward to that. The beta is coming out early next year for Xbox One, PC, and PS4. And the release date of this game, the official confirmed release date, will be the 8th of March 2016. So it's a long time, but it's less than a year. That's how I think about it. And then we saw a new game called Anno 2205, which is a game that is set in space. Don't really know much about it. It looked very cool. It looks a lot like Destiny, early Destiny kind of thing. And that's coming out November 3rd, 15, and the beta is going to be a little bit earlier, obviously, but kind of like in the next couple of months. Just Dance 2016. Now, I'm a fan of Just Dance. I don't really play it. I've only got 1 and 2, but I've played all of them. When I went to Comic-Con last year, me and Ash actually we played Just Dance on our phones. There was a studio there, then you could try out the game. We played it with phones. and they announced that with Just Dance 16 you don't actually need a camera, because it's fair, to be honest, because not everyone. I play my PlayStation all the time. I don't have a PlayStation camera. I don't have it. I don't feel the need to have it. And it's probably the same for Kinect, and obviously the Wii doesn't have a camera anyway. But you now don't need a camera to play Just Dance. You can just download the app directly from the store for whatever phone you've got, and you can use that as your controller, so you don't even need to get any kind of like motion device or anything. You don't really need, if you're on PlayStation 3, you don't need to move controllers anymore. You can just use your phone, and that is the really cool thing about this game. This will be coming to all consoles with movement-based software on them, so PlayStation 3 and for Xbox 360 and Xbox One, none of which you need to use any of the cameras for. And as a special kind of up-to-date thing for the next-gen consoles, they're going to have a streaming service called Just Dance Ultimate, and it will kind of update every day with the newest tunes for you to download, and you can just kind of stream them directly onto your thing, which is pretty cool. And they also had Jason Derulo perform for that, which I think was a little bit OTT, but you know what Ubisoft are like, they do like going over the top. So yeah, that was cool, but yeah, very cool. Another Tom Clancy, obviously Rainbow Six Siege is due to come out soon as well. Probably not as soon as Diversion, I don't know though. They are bringing Terror Hunt back, and you can play it solo or with up to 4 friends. And the beta is due to come out this year on the 24th of September, so if you want to sign up for that, head on over to the website. I don't know what the website is, but if you just type in Rainbow Six Siege, and I'm sure it will come up with the game's official website, so you can sign up for the beta on PC and both Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Trackmania. I really like Trackmania because I go back to the days where arcade machines were a thing, and arcade rooms down at the beach. And Trackmania was one of the games that one of the more modern games you played at an arcade. And then it went to PC, and that was it basically. And now it's coming to next-gen consoles, Xbox One and PlayStation 4. It looked very good. It looked like Trackmania, which is nice, because when you get things on next gen, a lot of the time they kind of overdo it. If it's like a classic game, they overdo it and it ruins it a little bit. But it looked like Trackmania, which was nice. And they did have this really cool feature of random track generator, which basically means there's unlimited tracks forever. It doesn't do the same one every time, and it just literally, you press the random track generator and it will just generate a random selection of roads and signage and kind of like environment every single time from its massive library of stuff that it's got packed away. And it will like mix tracks together, and so like little bits of different tracks together. So you'll probably be really unlucky if you ever get the same track twice. You know. So that looks really cool. No beta or release date confirmations on them, unfortunately, but I doubt it'll be too long because we actually did see quite a bit of it. So that was cool. Assassin's Creed Syndicate saw a whole new side to that, actually. Obviously we'd seen the trailer, and we see some other stuff in the PlayStation Sony conference, but it was just it's in London, which is a big thing anyway, because a lot of them are set like America and onwards, and it's set in 1868, and it just looked phenomenal, and it was all about getting people to join a cause instead of going at it on your own like the Assassin's Creed games had been before. And there's something really special about how this Assassin's Creed game looks. I can't put my finger on it, I really can't. I don't know whether it's just because it's set in the UK and it's finally set in the UK, because that might be the reason, but I don't think it is. There is something about how it looks, because despite the fact it's set in the UK and it's set in London, it's not the London we know. So, you know, it's irrelevant where it's set. No matter where it's set, if it had the look that it had, there would be something special about it. I can't put my finger on it, what it is. I remember when I played, when they brought out Assassin's Creed Unity and Rogue, I was really reluctant to play both, actually. I did play them both, and Rogue is by far my favourite Assassin's Creed game that I've played. But Unity was also very good. But I did kind of feel like they were going off track a little bit, and they were kind of losing ideas. But this time it looks, like, you know, when you look at an Assassin's Creed game and you can be like, yeah, if you saw a poster and it didn't say Assassin's Creed in it, you could be like, yeah, that's Assassin's Creed, without a doubt. You would be able to recognise an Assassin's Creed character, game poster, whatever, from a fucking mile away. You just would be able to. This doesn't look like an Assassin's Creed game, but not in a bad way. It looks like they're actually upping their game, and it's something brand new. I don't know if that's because it's set in somewhere completely different to where it's been set from before, because I think when they did the Ezio series, so that's Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood and Revelation, they got quite comfortable and they started to lack a little bit because there was nothing new about it bar the aging of the character, and bar the storyline. There was nothing new about what they were doing. It was all set around the same kind of person's lifespan, if you know what I mean. 3 was something completely different, but that was America. It was just something completely different. 4 was obviously set out in the ocean. Unity was set in France. But what I'm trying to say is that each of them characters had something that was just them trying to fight for themselves. Maybe not just themselves, but something that made them individual from everyone else. Whereas this seems like the main characters want people to join them to fight. And we did see that in the other games, but I don't think to the extent that we're going to see it in Syndicate. And I really am looking forward to this game. I really am. I can't quite put my finger on what it is that makes me so hyped for it, but I really am extremely hyped for it. So I've still got to play Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. That's on my to-play list. But I've got it, so it'll be played kind of as soon as I'm finished whatever I am playing at the moment. I can't remember what it is. I'm playing so much at the moment, I can't remember what it is specifically I'm playing. Yeah. So yeah, Assassin's Creed Syndicate looked really good, and that'll probably be one of my favourite games I get this year. I will be getting that on release, hopefully, which will be nice. And then the last thing we saw was Tom Clancy's, again, another Tom Clancy game, Ghost Recon, and we actually saw the pre-alpha, and it looks like I've seen a lot of next-gen consoles games as finished. Now, if that's pre-alpha, I almost dread to think how amazing this game is going to look. It looks absolutely phenomenal. It looked like a proper... Obviously, you know the Tom Clancy games always look their best at what they do, and you know one game from another, like per series. But this look, considering it was pre-alpha, it looks like I don't know. I've played finished PS4 games. Say, I'm not picking on a game here. I'm just going to say one that comes to mind, Murdered Soul Suspect. Fantastic game, actually probably one of the favourite games I've played over the last year. I really did love that game. But it didn't look as good as Ghost Recon did pre-alpha. Now I don't know if that's because it came out so early in the PlayStation 4 lifecycle. Obviously no one knew the capabilities of a PlayStation 4 when they were making the game. Yeah, it just looked incredible, and I was like, this is pre-alpha. What the fuck is the finished game going like? But yeah, that was really cool. So yeah, that was Ubisoft, and actually they had, like I said, they had one of my favourite conferences for the whole year, to be honest. It was solid. It was updating us where it needed to be updated. It was giving us information where they needed to give us information. And probably one of the most important things is they didn't have too much new things that wasn't reachable within the timescale. We knew about Assassin's Creed. We knew about Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six and The Diversion. We knew about Just Dance. We knew about all them. The only new ones they had were DLC and on Trackmania, but that's like a reboot anyway, so that's not really too much. And the big thing was obviously For Honor, and I really like that they've done that, because it shows that they really are putting their focus solely onto games that we've already been promised we're going to have, and they're kind of slowly starting to go into new projects that do look phenomenal, to be honest. And you know, we're not getting release dates for these new projects, and I'm not expecting to. Next year I'm expecting to see a lot of the stuff that we saw this year there, like the stuff that wasn't like the new stuff that was announced. I'm expecting to see that next year, because it shows that they have got their heads to the ground with stuff that they need to get finished, like the Tom Clancy series. That was at E3 last year, E3 this year. It won't be at E3 next year because they'll be out probably. But they are keeping us updated, and they're not putting too much pressure on themselves and letting other games lack quality, which is good. I would rather them, you know, not have us too much new stuff for us, and just let us know that they are working their asses off on the games that we've been promised we're going to have previously. And that's just how I feel about that. But yeah, so that was Ubisoft. And that is all the kind of game developer companies done. Now we go on to the big game companies, and we're starting with Nintendo. Probably the worst conference of EA this year, not gonna lie. Basically no mention of the Wii U, and we all knew that was gonna happen because it's basically been discontinued. They said about a new Star Fox game that's coming out, which is going to be on the Wii U. Zelda Triforce Heroes, which is another phone game. No, Zelda Triforce Heroes is another Zelda like mashup, and they've mashed Zelda with Mario, which I despise. Xenoblade, Yoshi's Woolly World, talking about some of the amiibos, which had a little cool feature actually. If you were playing as Yoshi in obviously Yoshi's Woolly World, so you would be playing as Yoshi, and someone moved your amiibo off and put Mario's amiibo on, your Yoshi would have a Mario outfit. So that's a little cool feature. Apart from that, you know, everyone knew that Nintendo were going to have a really weak kind of conference this year, because with the Wii U basically down the shitter, and there's no other way to put it, Codename NX, the new console, is going to be kind of like, there's going to be more information about that next year. So apart from that, it was all handheld stuff, which was still copied, like it was just stuff that we saw last year. There was a load of stuff on Mario Maker, which is again nothing new, and the fact they're now merging Zelda with Mario, I hate it, because I wasn't a massive fan of Hyrule Warriors, which they did, and they mixed Zelda with Dynasty Warriors, two massively big game franchises, don't mix well together. And now they're going to put two beloved Nintendo characters into one game as the same kind of game, and it's not going to go well. I'm going to say that now, it is not going to go well. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about Nintendo. It's basically the worst conference I've probably ever seen, which is a shame, but we all knew it was going to happen. Now we are of course leaving the best till last. We're going to do Microsoft now. Now, Microsoft this year actually had a very strong conference. It surprised me what they had, and there's a few things on there that actually I was going, I want that. So they started off with Halo 5 Guardians, as per. It's just Halo. You know, not going to say anything about that. I'm not a massive Halo fan, but there we go. Halo 5 Guardians is coming soon, I suppose. There was no release date though, so I don't know. They had a couple of big points like quite early on, so I'm just going to leave them till the end. Fallout 4, we saw some more of. We saw some more of that. We saw some more of Plants vs Zombies 2. And then we saw something called EA Access, which is basically EA's partnership with Microsoft coming into play, and it's £5 a month, and basically you get money off of EA games on top of like your discounts with Microsoft, which is cool. Dark Souls 3, pretty big game. That's coming early 2016. Tom Clancy's Division. Now it said on the conference world premiere, but I distinctly remember that like coming out, like not coming out obviously. I just think to remember it being like shown last year, so I don't really know what world premiere was about. Rainbow Six Siege also still in the works, and when you buy Siege you actually get Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 with Siege for free, and that is going to be the 13th of October 2015, so it's not too long for that one. There was a load of stuff about ID at Xbox, blah 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 blah. Rare Replay are doing a really cool project. They're bringing 30 new games, 30 older games, sorry, onto one disc. And as of August the 4th, 2015, you'll be able to play these games. And it's basically a collection of old games, and it's going to be an Xbox exclusive. So that's pretty cool. It did some stuff about the Oculus Rift being released with controllers, and it's Xbox One game compatible as well, so you don't have to play it like just on your PC. It's Xbox One compatible. And then we move on to the big stuff. Now the smallest of the big stuff, which is still a big thing, Gears of War 4 is coming out. There is no release date. All we know is that it's happening. There's also a Gears of War Ultimate Edition coming to Xbox One. It's a remaster, obviously, and that's coming August 15th. And you can sign up to the beta, which is public right now, and you can try it now if you would like. So yeah, that looks cool. What else have I got up here? More Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now, that's coming November 10th, 2015, which we all knew, which I talked about in the previous part of the video. Last year, at E3, this was announced as an Xbox exclusive. After that, we got information that it was not in fact an Xbox exclusive, it was just coming to Xbox first. Correct? Correct. This year at E3, it is once again being advertised as an Xbox exclusive. So this annoys me because it shows that games developers, big game developers, don't care about their like what's the word, like their like friendship with and their loyalty to like the companies that have funded them for their like the beginning and the whole of their career, like Sony have with the makers of Tomb Raider. So Tomb Raider has been a PlayStation thing forever, literally forever. Like the first games are PlayStation 1, the next sort of little game was PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. Everything has always been PlayStation for Tomb Raider, and now this company has sold it to Xbox and Xbox only, and that really pisses me off. Because it shows they don't dedicate themselves to one company. They go wherever their money goes. And to be honest, Sony have done a massive fuck you back at Microsoft for doing that, which I think basically what they have done is like a massive fuck you for taking Tomb Raider, which I will tell you about very shortly. So yeah, it annoys me, but it does mean I'm probably going to have to buy an Xbox One because it does look like a very good game. Then we had some stuff about a new controller coming out, and it's called the Elite controller, and it's basically got more pads at the back, more pedals at the back. So if I've got an Xbox One controller here, it had like paddles here coming across like the back, like each side there was two like coming off there, and it was kind of for more like accurate racing and like fighting and things like that. Then they announced backwards compatibility which I am very impressed with actually, because PlayStation still haven't done that. I'm going to say it now, they haven't done it. They didn't do it this year. And as of the holidays, you'll be able to play basically all your Xbox 360 games on your Xbox One, which is cool. And you'll be able to buy Xbox 360 games from the store and download them onto your Xbox One as well, which is very cool. Like, well done to Microsoft for getting that done, because to be honest, I think all of the next gen consoles would have it by now. And I am a bit annoyed Sony don't, but there we go. Personally, it doesn't affect me too much because I'm the kind of person that likes to play a game on its specific console. Like, I have a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4, yeah? I wouldn't play, even though I could play a PlayStation 1 game on a PlayStation 2 or 3, I wouldn't. I'd play it on my PlayStation 1. I would never, I don't know, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. If I've got the console, I will play the game on its console that it's made for. That's just how it is for me. So it's not an overly big thing, but I think it is something Sony should do, because at the end of the day, the PlayStation 4 is a lot of people's first console, like the Xbox One is. So, you know, they need a bigger selection of games. Then they had the big thing. Now this is a big thing. I was shocked and I was like, this is the most probably incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. Microsoft HoloLens with Minecraft. Just wow. I had no words, and you know, I don't know how it was that we saw it, because from the stage I don't know how they would have actually seen it, but basically it's glasses, kind of like the Oculus Rift and the Project Morpheus, but like thinner, direct actual glasses. And you just see holograms of games, and you can play Minecraft on your table basically, and you can zoom in. It's all voice activated, and you can kind of like touch things in the world, and you can like everything is voice activated. You can command it. You can like lift things up. You can zoom in. You can look inside things. Like, it doesn't sound like, obviously it sounds impressive, but when you like talking about it is nothing compared to seeing it. Which is why hopefully I have done this video so that like the parts of the E3 conference I'm talking about are actually playing at some point on one of these sides next to my face. So yeah, absolutely amazing, and it really shocks me because Oculus Rift, like, it isn't out for public release as far as I'm aware. I haven't heard anything about it. Like, I know like a few people have got them, like Markiplier's got one. But like, as far as I'm aware, they're not out for public gaming release. So I don't know how they're gonna like fund both. But obviously it's Microsoft, they got fucking infinite money. So yeah, that was the big thing. Now overall, I'd actually say this is probably my favourite Microsoft conference ever. They had a lot of new stuff. They had a lot of stuff that obviously we've seen before. But when they covered stuff that was in other conferences, we actually saw like different parts of it, which was cool. They have a lot of new stuff coming out. Obviously, they focused a lot more on technology than I have ever seen them do. Normally, they focus a lot on games. The one thing I will say is that, bar the really big games like Fallout, Plants vs Zombies, which isn't even a really big game, but bar the really big games, obviously the Tom Clancy games, Microsoft focused pretty much solely on exclusives. Now that's not a thing that Sony did, and I'm going to say why that is. Because if a game is on both consoles, it will play better on the PlayStation 4. Not a bad thing, because, you know, stiff competition and such. And it means Sony can bring out some better exclusive, which is, I think, why they've got Tomb Raider, which it still pisses me off, but I think that's why they've got Tomb Raider, because they needed something. But I must say, their exclusive releases do look fantastic. So, you know, I will probably at some point get my own Xbox One, because I've still got Andrew's here at the moment, but I will probably get my own Xbox One, because their exclusive games are actually very good, but it's just the games that come out on both consoles that the PlayStation trumps them on. So And talking of PlayStation, let's go to the last page. I should say the first page, it was the first one I watched. To Sony. No, I'll try not to fangirl too much, but this was actually my favourite conference. That's probably my favourite Sony conference that I've ever seen. Now, just going to take a tip on my e-cig. Now, not overly big on software this year, not software, hardware this year, Sony, because they have got a whole list of basically incredible games coming out from them. I don't know how much you can see there. Basically a whole list of incredible games. They got a few hardware things in there, but basically cool games. Now, I know what you're going to say when I say this first thing. It's dead in the water already, and I would kind of agree with you because of the time it took for the second DLC to come out. But Destiny. New DLC confirmed, not confirmed date, but confirmed, called The Taken King. Actually looks very good. Now, I don't know what the process is going to be for getting this. I don't know if you pay extra for it again, like we did with the first two DLCs, because that was an expansion pack, it wasn't a season pass. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but this DLC actually has a lot of new things about it. It's going to be unlocking new parts of the map. There's a lot of new weapons, not just in the shape of guns, but bows and arrows and things like that. New characters being introduced. New, basically everything is being introduced. And we all know Destiny, when the original game came out, it wasn't the complete story, and a lot of people had a problem with that, but I tend to think of it as kind of like the World of Warcraft consoles, because the DLC that comes out for it kind of carries on with the story, and I think Destiny as a whole is a game that will last the duration of the PlayStation 4, and maybe even more than that, and I think that's what people don't consider when they play the game. They think, oh, basically we know nothing after playing the first lot of game, but there's so much more to come of it, and from the look of The Taken King, we haven't even seen the best of it yet, and I'm actually really excited. When I played House of Wolves, which was very good by the way, it was a lot better than Dark Below, I thought, well, that'll probably be the last Destiny DLC I play. Now I've seen The Taken King. It was fantastic, it just looked amazing, and I was ready to put Destiny down for a little while and kind of catch up in a few months' time, but obviously The Taken King isn't going to be out for a while anyway, there's no release date, but it did look good and I will be playing it. Medium Molecule, there was nothing about Tearaway Unfolded there, even though it's not released, but they have got a new game coming out called Dreams, which looked a little bit terrifying, and also very cool. And it's basically, you know when I talked about Doom with the whole create your own level thing, this is basically like a Medium Molecule version of that, and you can create characters, animate them, and it's all in kind of like a paint style. And I mean, the thing I love about Medium Molecule is that everything is really simple. Like Little Big Planet was just a little board, like a sack character, and you make the best of what you've got. In Tearaway Unfolded, even though I haven't played it, it's just paper. That's all it is. Like the whole game is basically based around paper. And now they've got stuff that's basically based around like a clay paint sort of texture. And there's no actual like objective. The whole thing is open for you to do what you want and share online with your friends and create things for your friends and keep them to yourself if you want. But if you want it to, you can kind of send it up into this whole database. And what you actually do is you pass through people's dreams, and you can create whatever you want. And it looks like very cool. It just looks very cool. No Man's Sky. I think, like, you know, when I first saw this game last year, it looked incredible. It still does, but I really think they need to get it out. There's still no release date, and you know, I get it's a big game, and I get it is a small company that are working on it, I really do, but this is the third conference they've done on it, because they did the massive thing at PSX, which gave them a hell of a lot of funding. So, you know, there's still no confirmed release date, which apparently we are going to be seeing very soon, but we haven't seen anything yet. It looks good, it does look good, but I worry that the random generation of planets and things like that is going to be something that affects the quality of it. Like, there's no set pattern that I know of for that game, which could be its downfall. But personally, I don't think they could bring it to another E3 and get away with it. I think they need to bring it out like pretty sharpish, otherwise people are going to lose interest. But you know, it looks good still, so I'm still excited about playing it. The Last Guardian 2016 confirmed with the bird dog with the furthers, quoting the IGN. I cast that, which cracks me up. By the way, I watched the IGN post show for Sony, and they were talking about the Last Guardian. Like, because there's no villains or bad guys or kind of any kind of threats in the Last Guardian. It's basically like a puzzle game. And they were going on about and going, where's this guy's mother? Why is there a bird dog? Are they fur? Is that fur or are they feathers? And then they were like, furthers and all this kind of stuff, and I was just like, this is crazy, but it was cool. So yeah, The Last Guardian 2016 confirmed, but no month or date confirmed yet. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I am so hyped for this game. I still need to play Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, and obviously we're still going through the Assassin's Creed section of the kind of like series of walkthroughs on the channel at the moment, which is taking forever because there are so many of them. I still need to like finish editing Unity and Rogue, to be honest, and then I got to play and edit Chronicles China, and then hopefully by the time Syndicate comes out that'll all be done. So it's based around kind of like Jack the Ripper kind of time, London. Again, there's a male and female lead character that you can choose from as a brother and sister. Everyone's accents sound really weird, and I say that because I'm obviously British, but they have like got really distinctive like London British accents, and it's strange that you can kind of point them out even though you are still British. But yeah, that looks very cool. New Hitman we've talked about. Final Fantasy VII Remake we've talked about. Shenmue 3. Now this is a game that's been kind of demanded for a long time after the second one, to the extent that they couldn't actually afford to do it. But there's a Kickstarter project which they probably funded and then some by now, because I think even after I think they were asking for 2 million, and like already after the Sony conference they were already like a quarter of their goal. So yeah, Shenmue 3 is coming out, obviously not for a very long time because they haven't actually, I don't even know if they've got the funding yet or whatever, but you know, there we go, that's coming out. Batman Arkham Knight, which is coming out the 23rd, which is next week. Well excited. I've actually got that on pre-order. It should be delivered on release day, and I'll be playing that straight away. In the trailer we saw, Batman died. Joker's dead because he's seeing it accelerated. We don't know what that's about. There's a lot of Scarecrow influence, and obviously the PlayStation players get the Scarecrow Nightmare maps, which is cool. And then we kind of went on to a more like hardware part of it, which was some stuff from Project Morpheus, but there's still no release date or anything like that, so I don't really know much about that. All we know is that it can be played multiplayer. And then they announced PlayStation View, which is kind of be like a TV service. You can get like individual channel like subscriptions. Instead of like paying for a TV package, you could pay for like one channel at a time, which is pretty cool. And if you've got PlayStation Plus, obviously you get a discount on the channel as well. So another good reason to have PlayStation Plus, which is a fantastic service. I'm not going to plug it too much because everyone knows it's good. And then we had the massive kickback in the ass from Microsoft, which I am impressed with, but also it still bums me out because we've lost a lot just to get what we've got. So we've lost Tomb Raider. We've acquired COD. Activision have partnership with Sony. Black Ops 3 is going to be first on PlayStation 4. We're going to be getting all the map packs first, and we're going to be getting the beta first as well. And that's due to come out on the 6th of the 11th this year. They've put a lot of work into the story the campaign, and I mean, I'm not a massive fan of COD Online anyway, but it looks like they've actually put a lot of work into the campaign. And I played the last 2 Call of Duty games religiously. I didn't play Call of Duty. Today, however, I bought Black Ops. Because I want to play 1 and 2 before the campaign before I played Black Ops 3. But I played Ghosts, which was good, and then I played Advanced Warfare, which was actually very good. So I'm actually kind of like, it feels strange to say it, but I'm looking forward to Black Ops 3. So yeah, that'll be cool. That's basically Sony's way of saying fuck you to Microsoft for stealing Tomb Raider. The Uncharted Nathan Drake collection will be the PS4 remaster of the Uncharted series 1 to 3. We saw a lot of stuff about Uncharted 4 throughout basically the whole like E3 thing. There was a lot of Uncharted 4 there, and they actually looked very, very good, despite the slight hiccup with the lack of controller that was charged, and they had to start the whole thing, like start the run through again. But I'll forgive that, because when you actually see the game, like, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's completely open world. So yeah, that was cool. Then we looked at some more Star Wars stuff, and Disney Infinity are now partnered with Sony. Not sure how I felt about that at first, but Star Wars Disney Infinity 3.0 will be released very soon. And Star Wars Twilight of the Republic, which is based around the first 3 films, and then you got Rise of the Empire, which is based around 4 to 6, and that's an early launch on PlayStation, which you get an additional character, which is Boba Fett, which is exclusive to PlayStation 4. I'm not a massive fan of Disney Infinity. I'm going to say it now. I'm not a massive fan of the fact that Star Wars is now owned by Disney. In fact, I despise that. That being said, as a family fun game, it did look okay. So I'm going to leave it at that before I kind of like put any more on there. What have I got on here? That's basically it. Oh, Horizon Zero Dawn is a new franchise coming to PlayStation. Didn't see much of it. So yeah, Sony's conference was filled of big games, and I haven't mentioned everything I've written down because they had a lot of stuff that was already mentioned. Like they had Hitman on there. We talked about Uncharted. We talked about Star Wars Battlefront, that was on there, and of course, like I mentioned before, that was captured on the PlayStation 4. We had Final Fantasy on here. Lots of stuff that was mentioned in other conferences, like the specific game development company conferences, was mentioned in the Sony conference. So I haven't gone through everything again, but despite that, they've still got some bigger games. They've got some brilliant games coming out, like Uncharted 4, like Batman Arkham Knight. You know, Hitman's going to be great, Assassin's Creed's going to be great, No Man's Sky, Dreams, Destiny, whatever. You know, there's loads of good stuff coming out, and this Sony conference will probably come second to my favourite one, which was the release of the PS4 conference. I think that was my favourite one ever. Better than last year's, not as good as the one year before. The conference as a whole was good. It was very strong, kind of like direct to the point each time. And Sony are very good at doing that because they've always got a stronghold. And if someone fucks them over, like Microsoft have done with Tomb Raider, they will say fuck you and take something off of them as well, which is what they've done with Call of Duty, which I don't agree with, but you know, it shows their power. Because Call of Duty was there, even though like Tomb Raider has been with PlayStation for a longer period than Call of Duty's been with Microsoft. Microsoft is more of a bigger part of Call of Duty than Sony is of PlayStation. So Sony is of Tomb Raider. So they've basically given the biggest fuck you possible to Microsoft by taking Call of Duty off them, which is nice. Yeah, it was good. It was good. There was actually basically no mention of the Vita, which surprised me because basically last year everything was Vita this, Vita that, Vita this, Vita that, blah blah blah. And I don't have one, so you know I know they're cool, but despite Nintendo's downfall on basically everything this year, their handheld consoles are second to none as the best ones. So, yeah. So that's E3 this year. Overall, it was a fantastic 6 conferences. I actually think the solo developer ones like Square Enix and Bethesda were stronger than some of the bigger ones. Nintendo's one was bloody awful. EA's one was as good as it could be, but it's just very samey. Microsoft had some fantastic points, and Sony kicked back and had, you know, more. Microsoft's lows were low, if you kind of know what I mean, whereas Sony's lows were still high. I think the lowest point of Sony was the fact they'd taken COD. The rest of it was just incredible. So, yeah. That's going to be it from me. I've expressed my feelings about E3. It was a good year. I'm looking forward to next year. I'm hoping next year's going to be a bit more hardware based. And obviously a lot of these games will be here by the time we get to next year. So there should be some really cool brand new stuff in the works for next year, which will be even better than this year. Because a lot of stuff that we've seen this year is just kind of like repeats of last year, which we kind of knew about, but you know, we just seen more of. So a lot of stuff is due to come out this year, so there should be a lot of new stuff next year, which will be nice. Sure, I'm yawning, it's like 1:30, and I just got in from work like an hour and a half ago, so forgive me. But, so yeah, that's going to be it from me for this video. Let me know your thoughts, like conference, your favourite conference, your least favourite one, your favourite part of this year's E3, full stop, whatever, I don't mind, just comment below, let me know your thoughts. My favourite conference overall, just so it's out there, was Sony's for the big ones, and probably Bethesda for the smaller ones. Just gonna put that out there. Least favourite of all completely was Nintendo. So yeah, that's gonna be it from me for this video. Keep an eye out for the rest of the videos that are coming out this week, and until the next time you hear from me, guys, as always, stay classy, gamers.